How does the Cadman hymn tie
Yeah.
in?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay.
That's
I'm
amazing.
ready to listen.
Did you read it?
I actually didn't.
She didn't read it,
No,
guys.
I missed this one.
It is like, it will give you chills. They were chaotic and confused.
Mm-hmm.
So first they were, then they were in chaos, destruction, and ruin and confusion.
Yep.
The other theory is that the creation was a long, long time ago, and the days are just eons.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Welcome back. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Ethan.
We've got a really cool episode for you today, and
It's a good one.
yeah, we're gonna be talking about the
Gap creation.
yeah, I just read
She's on
it,
one,
now
folks.
I can't. Okay,
Gap creation.
gap creation.
Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which I'd never heard of.
yeah, is the Earth young, like just a few thousand years old, or old, with millions or even billions of years of history? So, we've got gap creation, young Earthers who, or kind of old, but like, what do they believe? What's gap creation? Specifically, we just read this in Let the Stones Speak. So, this is a really cool, free. It's a free magazine.
Archaeology, biblical archaeology magazine.
Yeah.
And it's through the Armstrong Institute, which is an Israeli foundation.
Yeah.
And there's this free magazine.
Yep.
Which is really interesting because if you're not in any circles where you follow biblical archeology, this is fascinating
really
stuff
cool
if you're diving into anything Old Testament.
Yep.
Or if you're interested in anything Old Testament.
They
have some really
deep,
fascinating articles, and they tie it in with real life names and places, and
they do some pretty deep dives on things. Yeah, they do scripture references. Almost every article has scripture references, like where you can find it. They do they look at different translations of things. And so some of that's what we're going to talk about is some of the translations, specifically in Genesis.
Now we're pulling from the article, if you can see it on the screen. It's called Young Earth or Old, Gap Creation Explained. And this is by Christopher Eames. And this is one of the best articles I have ever read. It's almost written like an essay. And it's just fascinating. He pulls from a lot of different sources, and he really does explain what this gap creation theory is. Now, I've played around in my own brain, reading scriptures and reconciling what we learn scientifically about the earth and what we try to form in our brains when we read the scriptures. I've played around with some of these ideas, and I think they have some merit. But the actual idea and using the Bible to, I guess, getting into the actual text of the Old Testament to show how this theory has a lot of merit to it. It's really fascinating.
Yeah. So just something more specific, I guess. I kind of looked into this, but there's like really no doctrine that we have in the LDS Church theology about how old the earth is. Like,
nothing.
So there's nothing specific about it. It's not a saving doctrine. So I guess we'll go through this together. Kind of look at we're going to look at the different translations that they have. And then look at there's some stuff about the Cretaceous Paleogene boundary, or the KPG boundary. Let's dive into it.
What is gap creation? And a lot of what I'm reading, pretty much everything, if I'm reading it here, that is going to come from this article. by Christopher Eames. And he says, what is gap creation exactly? Simply put, this considers the creation week in Genesis, the 6 days of creation, considers creation week recorded in Genesis 1 as a recreation. Gap creation refers to the recreation of a world already brought to existence at some nondescript time in deep antiquity, per Genesis 1:1, and was eventually restored per Genesis 1:3 and onward. So we're dealing with the first 3 verses of the book of Genesis.
Okay.
And that's when all of this happens.
That's amazing.
Which is fascinating how much is packed into those little verses.
Yeah.
Let's see. Apparently this idea was had grown in popularity throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. Second half of the 20th century for the young readers, that's the 1900s. The 20th century, as the, I guess, more solid scientific theory and just consensus in the scientific community about the creation of the earth and how old it was, gap theory just fell out of fashion.
That's interesting that it did. I was kind of as I was reading the article, I was wondering why it did, because it seems, after reading this, it seems like a pretty reasonable theory.
Yeah, and other theories are it was a literal 6 days and the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
Yeah.
That's one theory. I don't know the name of that one.
Yeah, I don't.
The other theory is that the creation was a long, long time ago, and the days are just eons, or just
could be any amount of
long
time.
amounts of time.
Yeah.
in each segment, and that's not quite this theory either.
No.
But
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, this theory really focuses on those first couple verses, and it treats it as a recreation. What we really get into in the meat of the creation story is the second. It's the recreation of the earth,
which I think ties in more with our theology than anything else I've really read.
Possibly. Plus, we should get into that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Plus, it gets away from ex nihilo too.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, this is an old Jewish idea. This is old Hebrew. From everything we've dove into, the Hebrews did not believe in creation out of nothing.
No.
And that's backed up in the literary terms in the books and the writings, but also in the midrash or midrashim.
Oh yeah.
That was recorded. There's many discussions in the midrash about it not being just out of nothing. It was formed and created out of existing things. But almost like creating order out of chaos. You don't create the chaos. You create order out of the chaos.
Well,
the chaos is pre-existing.
I think that was probably one of the first paragraphs or sections in there, but
and
maybe we should dive into that, because that one talks about the chaos and destruction and stuff.
Well, first bit here, and we're just going to go by sections. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, which is interesting. It's a fantastic verse. It's very short, very simple. However, that first word, and I don't speak Hebrew. I don't read Hebrew. Whatever that first word is, it's translated as in the beginning. But there's no definite article. Definite article being the, meaning a definite article refers to an object, like beginning, like the beginning.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that, and that is a feature in Hebrew. It does have definite articles, but this word doesn't have that. So a better, more literal translation of it would be in a beginning.
Which is interesting, a beginning. And based on the article, and also like when you're reading it, a beginning could be any start then.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't doesn't necessarily mean like this is it. Like,
yeah, it's in a beginning. It's referencing an indistinct
like,
or indefinite point in time in the past.
Yep.
In a beginning.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. It doesn't change a lot. Like it does that alone doesn't transform the creation story. But it does start to get the wheels turning as far as how this could be different.
When I read it, the thought that came into my head was like once upon a time.
Yeah.
It's
once upon a time
this happened.
Yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily mean that it could have started any time. So in a beginning, once upon a time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's fascinating. The next thought here, and this is in Genesis, the second verse.
And let me pull that up.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
This part was really interesting.
No, it's very, very fascinating. Let's see here. So the words for without form and void, without form is tohu, Tohu.
Yeah.
And the other one is bohu, Bohu in Hebrew. And it can be translated a couple different ways, and they use context in other places where those words are used to better understand the text or the translation here. But what's translated as without form and void is translated as waste and empty, desolation and emptiness, chaos and empty. And these are different translations that have been made on those words. In Isaiah 31:11, it's talking about God's vengeance against the nations. And it says, "For God will measure that land carefully. He will measure it for chaos." The word for chaos is tohu. And destruction, which is bohu. The other one would be in Jeremiah 4, comparing Jerusalem's prophesied destruction. And it compares it to Genesis 1:2. "Behold, published concerning Jerusalem, I beheld the earth, and lo, it was waste, tohu, and void, bohu." And these were wartime passages, and it was of reflection of destruction and ruin coming to Jerusalem. Let's see here.
Yeah, the other one in there was let's see. Isaiah.
Is that Isaiah 45?
45, yeah.
Isaiah 45,
18. "For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens. He created it not in vain, tohu." So, I guess what it's saying, God didn't make earth a waste originally. Is kind of what they're getting at.
He created
with this.
It not a waste, and waste is tohu. Other translations is He created it not in vain, and vain being the word tohu.
Yeah.
Now, I guess what it's implying is in the beginning the earth was full of destruction and waste.
But it wasn't necessarily formed by God that way. Like something happened and it was destroyed. So there was destruction and chaos on earth.
Yep.
God came and
the best translation is chaotic and in confusion. Which is interesting. It's a different when you say void and without form, I think of nothingness. But if I was to say it was chaotic and in confusion, that implies a much different picture. The next point here is let's see. is about the fall of angels. And it's the rebellion which caused Earth to fall into a state of tohu and bohu. Now, this is part of this. We jump to Isaiah 14, 12 through 15. Mm-hmm. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. And that's reading from the King James Version. Mm-hmm. In Ezekiel 28, 14 through 16, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God, and thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. Thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub. Luke 10:18, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Peter wrote, God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment. Jude 6, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved it in everlasting chains under darkness unto judgment. In the book of Revelations, we've got, there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, and his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to earth. So this is the idea of the angelic fall.
Yeah.
And the question is, where in the creation story did that happen? Mm-hmm. Was it before the creation of Adam? Was it before the creation of the earth?
Yeah.
Was it somewhere in those first 6 days? Was it after the creation of Adam? And that's where it's fascinating to think about, because we like to get things in order. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Well, something I thought of as we were reading this was, and I don't know if it goes on to talk about this, but that the KPG boundary.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting, because what if that's the chaos and destruction and the fall before God creates Adam and Eve?
Well, and if you don't know what that is, that's the Cretaceous Paleogene.
I think we've got a picture. Let me pull
boundary.
It up.
Yeah, and if you're seeing the screen there, then you've got it. You don't need me to hold up the actual magazine for you.
I'll pull up the picture.
It's right at the beginning, and it's that dark black line right there in the rock.
Yeah, this whole.
No, it's
Isn't it this whole thing,
no,
or is it just this little line. Dark black?
Just the dark black line there.
Sorry.
What it is, it's a layer that has high iridium. And what is
iridium?
Iridium?
Yeah. Is it
one of those radioactive elements? Okay. Now, we find that layer, that boundary, all over the earth.
Yes, anywhere you go.
Which makes it really, really good for dating.
Yeah, because it's something we can go off of.
Yeah. We can match that event and that depth in the soil to the same time frame all around the earth.
Yeah.
But the thing with iridium is it's abundant in meteorites. So it implies some event of destruction, some kind of celestial body falling to earth and causing a great amount of destruction, to the point where if this was a meteor impact or something like that, all of the debris from that essentially circles the earth and falls at the same time, because it's the singular event.
Yeah.
And it creates this boundary layer. So we can, if we kind of pinpoint when that happens.
Yeah.
When we're digging, if something's below or above it, we know kind of time frame wise.
Yeah.
Because we know how old or how decayed that iridium is. So we can kind of place that. So if something's deeper than that boundary, it was before that time. Above that boundary,
it's after.
It's newer.
Yeah. I guess that's what makes me think that maybe that was the fallen angels, the destruction.
Well, and time frame wise, that should be the destruction of the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Which doesn't eliminate dinosaurs from our existence. Like, it could have. This Earth is very old. There could have been different things going on.
What do you mean?
Like, before Adam and Eve were here, like the Earth could have had lots of things going on. That's what I'm saying. Is
implied.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're reading this in the context. Excuse me. I think this is why we're reading this in the context of Genesis 1:1 to Genesis 1:3.
Yeah.
That it's such a nuanced reading that in a beginning, or once upon a time, were the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
And then they were chaotic and confused. So first they were, then they were in chaos, destruction, and ruin and confusion.
Yep.
So we're talking about the fall of the angels. This is this could be, depending on your take on the fall of angels, whether you think this is just a myth, like we apply the myth and the story to, like an ancient apocalypse. We apply
like a real thing happening.
Yeah, but there's some kind of meteor shower,
or there's an explanation,
or some kind of celestial event. But in our historic memory, it's it's mythologized, or what's the word? Mythologized. Mythologized. I'm going to get roasted for that one.
Okay, I've got I don't remember, because you've said mythologized and so many times that I think that's the word.
Yeah, my simple brain just pulls that from mythology.
Whatever.
Anyway, it could that could be a comparison of the myth. We read it as the fallen angels and whatnot as the myth, but it was maybe a meteor shower or some kind of ancient apocalypse type thing.
Mythologized is the word.
Mythologized.
You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You are.
So that's one reading on that. But what's fascinating is we have all these examples that we just went through.
Yeah.
Old and New Testament.
Yep.
Kind of describing the same event.
Which
so it did not evolve. It did not evolve much over thousands of years.
No, so they haven't changed it, which would take that as more evidence that it is what happened.
Well, and here's the second half of Genesis 1:2. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So the first part of Genesis 1:2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And then it goes in. So now suddenly in a beginning were the heavens and the earth. Then the earth was without form and void.
Yep.
And in that same verse, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing. It's like renewal.
Well, and that's what it's saying.
Something.
We move into the 6 days of creation at that point.
This is interesting too.
We already have the heavens, which is plural. We already have earth. We already have waters. And this is all before the description of the first day.
Yeah.
In the beginning were the heavens and the earth. They were without form and void. And was the darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So we have all these elements. We've got the earth, we've got the heavens, and heavens in the ancient Hebrew sense would refer to the air, the atmosphere. That was the heavens.
That was the Earth's atmosphere or whatever.
So we've got land, we've got waters, and all of this before the first day. So that's where and the Spirit of God moved. Well, that's as if we're initiating the creation work now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, it's moving forward.
So what the author adds next? Psalm 104, verses 29 through 30. Thou hidest thy face, they, meaning the creatures of earth, vanish. Thou withdrawest their breath, they perish, and return to their dust. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. So it's Psalm 104.
Yeah,
maybe somewhat of a commentary on Genesis.
Yeah,
where
that's interesting.
There was chaos and destruction, death.
Yeah,
and then
now it's being
there was a renewal and recreation.
Yeah, which I just thought about this, but that ties in with so destruction. They're separated or dies, and the earth is reborn because God moves over the face of the waters. Supposedly, the earth is covered completely with water.
Yeah, like a baptism. Yeah, like you're reborn from the waters. Yeah, death. Like when Adam and Eve are separated.
Yeah, they're separated, but it's
when you eat that fruit, you will die.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily
mean
die.
Separated from God. So if there was a destruction event or series of events, and then it's renewed out of water,
rebirth.
Which is fascinating. I mean,
that's so
it's
cool.
another parallel, and it happens so quick. We read it, and it's just
it
gone.
does. But there's so much that happens in Genesis. Like it's amazing how much happens in those first few verses.
Yeah. So Psalm 104 and verse 2 of Genesis. If we look at it through this lens, it is describing a renewing of the face of the earth after it had become waste and empty. Yeah, which is fascinating.
Yep.
Let's see, Genesis 1, 3 through 5.
Yeah.
This is the next thing, which is an interesting thing. These are little nuances in the translation, and we don't read Hebrew.
No, but it's so much better when you start looking up the words because there's so much we're missing. Because
let's do Genesis 1, 3 through 5.
Okay.
And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. However, and that's the end of the verse. However is not in the verse.
Are you sure?
So first day is not exactly the Hebrew term that's used.
Yeah, this was interesting.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
The Hebrew term for first day, it does exist. It's just, that's not the word being used. There is a word for first day.
Yes. Yeah.
What this one is one day.
Yeah.
Which, again, doesn't change it completely, but it does tweak the
But it kind of goes back to the beginning.
A beginning.
One day this happened. It's not necessarily the first day, but one day.
Yeah, and the evening and the morning were one day.
Yeah. Which still ties into one day, second day, third day. Like, it doesn't need to be first day.
Well, I mean, even if you look at it through the lens of cosmic events, there's myth and stories of days and nights combining, and we've got eclipses and things like that. What this would say at the end there is, and the evening and the morning were one day.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, this is complete. This is
like one day or in unity, or just generic. Like just one day.
This is one day.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
It is interesting.
And so where that word is used, we got Genesis 33:13. One day all the flocks will die. 1 Samuel 27:1. I shall perish one day. Zechariah 14:7. There shall be one day. First century, the article goes on, first century Jewish philosopher Philo noted, he called it not the first day, but one day. When talking about the creation, let's see, Josephus argued that this was the first day, but deferred his explanation about the reasoning for the odd language. Which is funny because we'd have to go look this up. He doesn't give the explanation in the article, but Josephus had a commentary on it. If there had been others before that day, it makes sense to use one day. If there were days before this day,
then it means sense. It would be one. Yeah, it's just
one a day. Generic day, like that day.
Yeah.
If it was the first day, you would want to say it was the first day. That's, but
because that's significant then.
Yeah. But if there were other days before this day,
then it's not
using a generic one day.
Yeah.
Then that makes more sense. Because when you go on the next days, it is the second day and the third day and the fourth day.
Yeah.
The only one that's different is that first day. It doesn't say first day. They were one day, but then bam, that's the event. And then you have the second day, third day, fourth day, measuring from there. So it does make sense, but it implies, why are we saying it like that? Why is it written like that? Moses? Why did Moses write it like that? Because there were other days before
there were other,
so that it is fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, what I love about this article is he gives all of the objections and critiques of this theory.
Yes.
And we'll run through those real quick. Do you have anything to add so far about the theory?
No, I just think I just have, when I read this article, I just really liked this. I really liked how it was presented. We've looked into a lot of the Hebrew in the Bible, and so this was just another one to add to it. And there's so much we're missing, I feel like. So, yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to add to it. But
yeah,
I really like the article and how he presented all the viewpoints.
Yeah, it really is fascinating. First objection against this theory was grammar. In gap creation, that first verse is often translated as, or the second verse, Genesis 1:2, and the earth became without form and void. Or they would say the earth had become a desolation, that kind of, rather than just saying, then the earth was without form and void. Because when you say became, that implies it was something, it was the opposite or something different before it became.
Well, and we don't necessarily
just say
know.
It was, the earth was, it's just a matter of fact statement about that thing.
Yeah.
But if it's translated, or better translated, as became, that word implies whatever it became, that has it's a reflection upon what it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's interesting because it could have been something different before there was destruction and chaos.
Yep. Yeah. So the arguments there is grammar. The arguments against this is
which I guess that's really hard to argue against because the Hebrews, like when they were writing this down, there's not a lot of words for some things too, and we're missing vowels and.
Well, and what's interesting, it gets very technical, and we're not going to bore you with all the technical Hebrew grammatical arguments, I know it's bedtime, but it's not. You don't want to go
Not
out like
existential.
that. Yeah. So, but what's interesting is the critics of this theory that use the grammar arguments end up being a little bit inconsistent, according to the author here.
Yeah.
Because the word used for became, that word that's being, whether it's became or was, the other uses of that word later in Genesis are inconsistent if it's not applied as became.
Yeah, it's like they're picking and choosing how it should fit. That's kind of what I got out of the article, was there's some things where people are like, well, the sounds better here. We should put the in because it makes it sound better.
Makes it sound better,
but that's not how it was written.
Yeah, not exactly how it was written. If that's correct, that the word is became, and earth became form and without void, the only thing before that is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning were the heavens, the earth.
Yeah.
And they became, meaning and that implies that they were something that was not void, without form, or chaotic, confused. So they were probably perfect.
Yeah.
And became chaotic and confused.
Yeah.
That's what this idea
with the fall happened.
Well,
possibly.
Yeah, what was it? Well, it could be the
could
angelic
have been the fall.
But so that's more explanation of it. What about death before Adam?
I don't remember that part. Sorry, you're gonna have to remind me.
No, you're good. It's right after the grammar one. Two New Testament passages are typically appealed to in this. First is Romans 5:12. By one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin. The other one is 1 Corinthians 15:21. For since by man came death, and it's inferred that animal death only began with Adam and Eve, and we've heard that before. When even with if God makes Adam a coat of skins, Adam and Eve a coat of skins, like, did he kill the first animal to make them coats of skins?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the theory.
Yeah,
because up to this point, it's implied there's no death, and this Romans and Corinthians implies that. What the author says, the problem with that is both of those passages, Romans and Corinthians, are only dealing with human death, and it's human spiritual death.
Oh, so the death of Adam and Eve then, by leaving the garden.
No, it's right? like death by sin, and even more generic than that.
Okay.
And so those we can't quite. So this is one of the objections to the gap creation theory is, well, you can't have this destructive event before and then a recreation. That implies death was a thing before Adam and Eve.
Oh.
And then they quote Corinthians and Romans. Problem is, Corinthians and Romans is talking about spiritual human death. It's not referring to animals or...
No, I don't think so.
Death of creation.
I would have to disagree with that, because I think...
Disagree with the death before Adam?
Yeah.
Or death before Adam?
Yeah, I think there probably was. I think there possibly in the Garden of Eden, there was no death in the Garden of Eden.
That was a characteristic of the garden.
But I think outside the Garden of Eden, there probably was death. It was a desolate area. And I think there was also people and animals and everything. But I don't think Adam and Eve I think they were immortal in the Garden of Eden.
And that could be. If you scroll down.
Let me pull that up. Okay, where are we at?
Oh, there's the grammar one.
Oh, grammar.
And then the next one we just talked about, the death before Adam.
Okay.
If you want to pause there for a second.
Yeah.
And then the next one is the fourth day problem. And this is the next critique of the creation theory. or the creation gap theory.
Yeah.
The fourth day. So Genesis 1, 14 through 19, the fourth day of creation, that's the sun, moon, stars.
Oh, okay.
So if you had this creation first, and then there was a destructive event, and now we're in the recreation, why is God creating the sun and the moon and the stars on the fourth day?
But I think there could be an explanation for that.
What gave it away? The fact that he wrote an article about the...
No, I actually don't remember reading this part.
So what she does is she absorbs knowledge through osmosis and just eats these articles. Then she forgets the source and is like, I know this. This is
like a cellular level knowledge here.
She's assimilated this knowledge like she's seen it before. I know this.
I honestly don't remember reading this part. I think I fell asleep. Remember?
Hopefully you're not falling asleep. Well, let's go through that. Yes, there's an explanation. As you want to just bring it up without the explanation. But that's a good question. Okay, hey, all right. There's creation in Genesis 1:1. And then we have the fall of angels or some destructive event, Genesis 1:2, and now we're into this recreation.
Okay.
Fascinating idea.
Yeah.
Well, then why are the sun and the moon and the stars recreated on the fourth day?
Yeah.
So, here's the explanation. Unless you want to give it a shot without reading.
Give it a shot. You go for it. I'll see if I'm right, and then, yeah.
Well, okay, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. So, if there was great destruction, if there was, whether you think about it like the myth where it's describing some kind of meteorologic event that's a physical destruction, or we think of like the fall of the angels, the fall of Satan, and it's a destruction or a war. If there had been, and Genesis is written as if like either through vision or a literal observation, someone is there observing.
Yeah, and then it gets passed down.
Yeah, and that's how it's just written in the first perspective.
Yeah.
After a great destructive event on this magnitude and scale, it is probably the atmosphere is probably occluded.
That was my guess.
Now,
but it reminds me of.
She's going to steal my idea, or she's going to steal this guy's idea.
It reminds me of the Book of Mormon, though, when Jesus, when there's destruction in. Yeah, when
Jesus was crucified,
and it totally destroyed the
great destruction,
and the cloud, the sky
nobody
became black.
Nobody could see anything. It was dark for 3 days.
Yeah,
it was.
So that's what that reminded me of.
Well, so there's this occlusion. You can't see anything. On the fourth day, God clears the clouds and the dust, so that you can see the moon and the stars, so that it can be used for the seasons, to separate, to divide the day from the night, to be signs for seasons, days, and years. Because post-destruction, you can't see those things.
No.
It's fascinating.
It's interesting that it's 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving on. Another related critique of this creation gap theory is something known as the light before luminaries problem. Verses 3 through 13 already describe the presence of light and the passing of evening and morning and day and night. Okay. So the problem, the light before luminaries, is, well, we get to the fourth day and it creates the sun and the moon and the stars. That's a problem.
Yeah.
It just in the reading.
Yeah.
Well, the creation gap theory solves this.
Yeah.
If yes, totally. There was light. Yes, the sun and the moon and stars existed. But the fourth day was clearing the occlusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearing the air, clearing the destruction and the smoke and the fog and the dust and the cloud. so that you can see them for the signs of seasons.
Oh, sidebar.
Yeah.
So, like, so remember how I was saying, like, in the Book of Mormon, they're talking about the destruction and chaos when Christ is crucified.
Uh-huh.
So they found evidence for an earthquake.
Who's they?
I don't know. Scientists.
Some people.
Some scientists. Scientists say.
Some say.
Some say.
Go on, finish your thought. They found evidence of an earthquake.
Yeah, a destructive
in the United States, the North America.
No, it wasn't in North America.
South America.
No, I think it was over in
Africa?
like Jerusalem.
Oh, okay. Evidence for an earthquake in the Middle East,
time,
right around year 30 something.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, yeah, maybe I'm mixing this up, but I'd have to look at it. But anyway, they found evidence of an earthquake.
Interesting.
During that time period, which is really cool. Sidebar.
Well, that's a great sidebar.
But, yeah. Anyway, I think that ties in with the destruction.
Though. Oh, for sure. So this also solves the light before luminaries problem. Yeah. Which makes sense.
Oh, it totally makes, like, I mean, this is just making sense left and right to me here. Okay. Next objection.
Exodus 20:11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. This would imply that God created everything in a single 6-day period. And that's the Exodus one.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
But that doesn't...
So his explanation of that, the verb used in Exodus 20:11 is not the same one used in Genesis 1:1.
Oh.
It's bara, meaning to create. A different verb, Genesis 1:1 is bara.
Okay,
in the beginning,
to create.
God created.
Yeah.
In Exodus 20:11, it's asa. Well, and asa can be used for creating. It's more of a generic word implying doing, working, completing, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
We're implying Genesis and Exodus are written by Moses.
Yeah.
Single author.
Yes.
Even if it wasn't Moses, single author, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah. Possibly later edits, possibly mistranscriptions. There's a lot that could have happened.
Definitely.
However, if Exodus 20:11 is commenting on Genesis 1:1.
Yeah.
There's my second yawn.
Yeah.
Holy moly. I hope you caught it. All right. If Exodus 20:11 is commenting on Genesis 1:1, the word should be the same. The word for create should be the same. That,
yeah.
At least,
it would make sense. But
at least, we in our school system, we're encouraged to use different words, to expand our vocabulary and not be repetitive. And, there's...
Yeah, so it's like...
And so this might be kind of a foreign concept. However, and in our English language, just the variety of words that we have to mean so many different things, and we can imply things. And like the Hebrews were very creative with their language.
Yeah.
Words meant multiple different things.
Oh, yeah.
And they could imply greater ideas than just the singular use of the word.
Yeah.
But if you're calling back to something, you're referencing that idea, you use the same word. That's the idea.
Well, yeah, because they do that, the Hebrews do that. They reference back to Like they use the same word if they're talking about
you
the
just
same
repeat
thing.
what I just said.
I'm sorry.
She's so cool.
No, I'm just agreeing with that makes sense. If they're trying to move on to a different topic, they're going to use a different word to describe it.
Well, they're not worried about using the same word.
No, yeah.
But that's the poetry and the mnemonic device of the language.
Yeah.
Is you use the same word. If you're telling the story later, you use the same words that you used earlier in the story.
Yeah.
If you use a different word, it implies you're talking about something different.
You're still talking about something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
We could do a whole podcast where we say like 10,000 words, but it's just us agreeing with each other. We'll get there eventually. Is that
our podcast right now?
Let's see. Bending scripture to science. The last critique is interesting. It says, I'll sum it up here because we don't want to read all that. Yeah. What's summing it up is, it sounds like the creation gap theory is just inventing a catastrophic event, and we're kind of just bending scripture to accommodate our newer scientific discoveries that the Earth is really, really old, and there's no way it's only 6,000 years old. And how convenient is that? Yeah. That's the critique. Yeah. However, the creation gap theory is much older than the scientific ideas coming out of the 19th and 20th century with our scientific revolutions. Yeah. This idea goes back 7th century.
Oh, wow. So that's
the creation gap theory goes back 7th.
That's really way old. Before a lot of these things were even really discovered. Some of the more modern discoveries. Yeah,
and I mean the oldest one that it references is the Cadman hymn. Something new I learned. Cadman hymn. I'm going to read it here at the end, so we're almost there. And I'm not going to read it in the Old English.
No, it sounds wild in the Old English. Like it doesn't even sound like words.
I'm going to read the modern English translation of it. But the Cadman hymn, because it is pretty accurately dated to the time that it is, oldest English script. Yeah. So oldest English that we have that's written. Yep. Which is amazing. Yeah. Older than really Beowulf. Cool. I always thought it was Beowulf. No, problem with Beowulf is and Beowulf's similar age. It's just not as reliable. It's a wider range of when it could have been. Yeah. But I'll read the Cadman hymn in a minute. Yeah. Let's see. Well,
and how does that tie into the gap theory?
How does the Cadman hymn tie in?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay. I'm ready to listen.
Did you read it?
I actually didn't.
She didn't read it,
No,
guys.
I missed this one.
It is like, it will give you chills.
That I'm so excited to hear it.
Okay. And you will, if you have the ears to hear, I love that. It will, it'll probably give you goosebumps.
I'm already getting goosebumps.
And you're going to hear, it's going to sound a lot like things we already read and referenced from all over the scriptures.
I'm so excited.
So anyway, so that's the bending scripture to science one. So the last thing in this article before I go read you the Cadman hymn that he used as one of his references in here is the gap theory doesn't just look backwards in time. And this isn't necessarily a critique. This is just a thought, his kind of his last thought here. It also looks forward in time, like prophetically.
Interesting.
So let's see. This is Isaiah 51:16. And I have put my words in thy mouth, and have covered thee in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens. What this author is implying is Isaiah is looking towards in this prophetic line.
Yeah.
He's looking at cosmic renewal.
Like multiple planets?
Well, like all of them. Not
like,
just multiple planets, all the planets. The universe.
I'm sorry. This ties in so much with LDS theology, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Oh my gosh. This is amazing. Like, when I started reading this article, like, I kind of felt like it all was, like, falling into place. I was like, this makes way more sense now.
So, and you'll have to read this. Look up this article. I'm not going to just bore you with all this.
You guys have to read this.
The idea here is the universe is in a state of deterioration. There we go. Deterioration. It is in decay. That is where the universe is at. It is in a decay.
This is wild.
The universe is tohu and bohu. It is chaotic and confused. It is in a state of decay. So when God says, "I will plant that I may plant the heavens," the ultimate goal of God's dealing with Israel is to bring life to the universe. Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Yeah.
And if we tie that back in to that all the scriptures, I read like 6 of them that are the angelic fall.
Yeah.
Even in Revelations, it's in that myth style of the dragon fell and took a third of the stars of heaven with him.
Yeah. It
implies that this universe it's not just our world that God is concerned about. It is the universe.
No. Yeah.
And this is pivotal for the universe.
This is blowing my mind right now.
Like, wait till I read the Cadman.
Yeah. So I read this whole article last night because it was really interesting, but like, I think I fell asleep for a little bit and then woke up and read the rest of it. And I think I must have missed a little bit because some of this last part is probably where I was falling asleep. And this is amazing. Like, it's blowing my mind right now. Like, folks, I'm getting goosebumps just listening to this.
Look it up. Armstrong Institute, Young Earth or Old, Gap Creation Explained.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic article. Now, this Cadman hymn, when I read this, and we'll just end the podcast. We'll end this episode right after I finish this one.
Okay.
So we'll say our goodbyes now.
Yeah.
I think it sounds a lot like Isaiah.
Oh. And I love reading Isaiah.
Isaiah's amazing.
I like Isaiah.
And Isaiah is the one talking about planting the heavens. It's yeah. Oh so gosh. Let me read this. It's very poetic. They did a fantastic translation on this.
Well, yeah, you guys leave comments, whatever.
Yeah. Share, and subscribe. Yeah. We'll leave you this. This is a longer podcast for us.
Yeah.
I'll leave you this. Now what I'm reading, so you can see it. It's this here. So I've got a couple paragraphs here. The angel legions knew the blessedness of God, celestial joy and bliss. Great was their glory. They knew no sin nor any evil, but dwelt in peace forever with their Lord. They wrought no deed in heaven save right and truth, until the angel prince in pride walked in the ways of error. Then no longer would they work their own advantage, but turned away from the love of God. They boasted greatly in their banded strength, that they could share with God his glorious dwelling, spacious and heavenly bright. Then sorrow came upon them, envy and insolence and pride of the angel who first began, that dead of folly, to plot and hatch it forth, and thirsting for battle, boasted that in the northern borders of heaven he would establish a throne and a kingdom. Then was God angered and wrathful against that host which he had crowned before with radiance and glory. Fierce of heart they boasted they would take the king. Fierce of heart they boasted they would take the kingdom and easily. But their hope failed them when the Lord, High King of heaven, lifted his hand against their host. He crushed his foes, subdued them to his will, and in his wrath drove out the rebels from their ancient home and seats of glory. Then our Lord took counsel in the thoughts of his heart, how he might people with a better host the great creation. As yet was not save shadows of darkness, the spacious earth lay hidden deep and dim, alien to God, unpeopled and unused. Thereon the steadfast King looked down and beheld it, a place of empty joy. He saw dim chaos hanging in eternal night, obscured beneath the heavens, desolate and dark, until the world was fashioned by the word of the King of glory. Here first with mighty power the everlasting Lord, the helm of all created things, Almighty King, made earth and heaven, raised up the sky, and founded the spacious land. And there we have it, the Cadman hymn.
Yeah.
Till next time.